Hey y'all, it's me, Bags here. To my three viewers, I am very proud to announce that your favorite YouTuber has returned. Now, I hear you barking, big dog, and I would like to apologize for my hiatus. I was, um, in the shower. Yeah, I was in the shower. Yes, statistically speaking, I am still my biggest fan, so maybe you guys could work on changing that for me? If you enjoy the video, leave me a little likey poo, subscribe, and share this around a bit. I would like to give y'all a warning. This content's going to be a little bit different than my old content, and the content of this channel is going to be quite a bit different going forward. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about perseverance, the human mind, and climbing up like that little boy Jack from that one nursery rhyme. For the last 20 years, I've been trying to complete this challenge in Lumines. The actual challenge is pretty simple to explain. You just gotta beat all 10 of the NPCs without losing a life. I like to fancy myself pretty good at this game, but every time this challenge beats me, and I end up installing the game for a year or two, then I come back to it again and again, knowing one day I would climb this hill. Today will finally be the day. I can feel it in my bones. A lot of things in my life are like that. As someone who suffers from a powerful ADHD autism combo, I don't half-ass things. I full-ass them for 3 months to a year, and then I never touch them again. Maybe it's just the inability to endure the boring middle ground, the arduous journey of fine-tuning and taking some above-average skills to mastery. Sometimes the more I try to focus, the worse I am at something. As with gaming, sometimes I just have to get into the flow of things to really make that progression. Let my subconscious mind do all the driving while my conscious mind rests. Maybe this is due to my hyper-focus that I get so engrossed in an activity that it consumes me, sometimes for months on end. It's never long enough to truly master something. I'll get to the top 5%, but none of those percentages ever paid rent. Then I'll retire a skill for a while and get frustrated when I revisit it later, wondering why I'm no longer good at the thing. It's hard to say where my interest will take me from one day to the next. It's like a wall gets placed in front of me. My chunky ass is far from a climber. Sometimes it's a reasonable wall, sometimes it's something I make up as an excuse for my sudden retirement. The wall in my brain goes up, and no matter how hard I try, I can't seem to go further. I would like to change this. After 40 years on this earth, I'm still not quite sure how to make that happen. Yes, kids, Bageena is an unk. Video games have been kind of an exception to this whole rule. They always have been my crutch when I stumble back down, and while I'm far from a speedrun master, I like to say I'm pretty okay, above average. I'm able to 100% most games, and that feels good. Well, it feels good, but sitting with it a little longer, I realize it's a false sense of accomplishment and achievement. It's shallow and empty. It gets to the point where I have a really hard time playing games if they don't have Steam achievements. It's kind of a problem. It's an addiction, I guess. And I desire so much to be productive and feel productive and do something real. Achievements kind of give me a false version of that. A little over a year ago, I had an experience that made me hang up my controller. I started focusing on building a website, and I wanted to start making a new type of content. History and religion, maybe some science stuff, sprinkled in for flavor. And not none of that pseudo-history, like real actual history. It's always been a passion of mine. But like everything else, it comes and goes in waves, and this time with that experience, I really thought it was going to be different. I had this grand vision, a website with a main content blog focused on history and esotericism, with social media profiles for users that have feeds, encrypted chats, DMs, all the things you're used to, but everything more academically focused. Instead of funding the site with ads and harvesting users like cattle for their data, I would sell merch, digital goods, and have a user-driven marketplace where I'd take a small cut, like 10% off the top. Content would not be served via algorithms looking to addict you with high-energy content designed to make you scroll and keep you constantly engaged. There would be a large community blog, contributed by the entire user base. The best posts were voted on by the community and returned higher in the feed, and the best of the best would end up making it into the main content blog. Personal feeds would be limited to friends and delivered in a timeline-like fashion. There would be groups for focused topics. A gamification system would reward users for thoughtful comments and meaningful posts, and engaging respectfully. It would be a place where free speech and a desire to learn could drive the platform. I knew it would be niche, not for everyone. I wasn't expecting to make a ton of money, but it would be a place where I could grow, learn, and interact. Return to the heart of the old internet, but with a modern twist. AI would be limited in its use, but I'm not a pro coder, I'll put it that way. It was partially vibe coded and used a lot of existing softwares to push everything together, so to speak. I know it's kind of hypocritical of me to think that I use AI correctly while the rest of the world doesn't. It's just that I see so much low effort AI content eating away at the very fabric of the internet, something that I love so much. I think it's one thing to tell AI to write you a script. It's another thing to use AI as more of a collaborative partner. Write out your script, give it to AI, have it not rewrite it for you, but suggest changes, maybe let you know where your tone seems a little off. Kind of like giving a script to a friend. I don't have any friends that would do that for me, sadly. Nowadays, I hear the same AI voice in almost every YouTube video. The soul and the uniqueness of speech and writing style just seems to be gutted. Even from many creators I loved and respected, most of their scripts now just seem to be ChatGPT copy pasta. And I think with my autism and using AI myself, I've really come to be able to pick up on that because it does have a very certain way of talking. I like to use AI to fill in the gaps in my skills and not replace my skills altogether. And I will admit that I did use AI to help refine this script, but the words are mine. AI helped me insert some jokes here and there, made some suggestions. Some of them I took and implemented, and others I completely ignored. It helped me with a few flow tweaks and helped me tone down a few things that were a little bit harsh or that weren't following the message that I wanted to convey. And even then, right now as I'm speaking to you, a lot of this is still improvised. I'm using the script as more of a guide. Yes, I do hear myself. I'm going to digress on this because the AI really is a whole side rant. Let's go back to my website. So my first attempt at the website, I got really far. I built the whole website out in MediaWiki, and that idea was a little bit different before my vision was refined. That was more of a Wikipedia article that would show the academic side of things, the pseudo-archaeology or the pseudo-history side of things, one religion side of a story, the other religion side of the story, and then have like a separate page to discuss and debunk things. There are still social media profiles, but they're a little bit more limited in scope. Soon after I built all of this out, I realized how hard it was to find help, and it was going to be near impossible to maintain on my own. And how do you even find people to share a dream with you? How do you make that happen in today's world? Especially without any kind of promise of profit. This had to have been people as passionate about it as I was. Most of the internet today is static and noise, and it's designed to play on your emotions and keep you engaged. And you can see that trickling down and affecting society in such a strange way. Everything has to be for profit now. I could barely find help with anything. And this has really become the norm. I didn't want it to feel like my project. I wanted to feel like our project. And I never really figured out how to get there. I scrapped the entire project and I rebuilt it in WordPress. And granted, I used quite a few plugins and trickery to make everything work, but I did end up getting a beta that I was pretty proud of, and it was a lot easier to manage on my own. And I could keep it going for at least the first few thousand users on my own. Once again, I got really far. I had the entire website built out for the most part, and I was building social media type pages, and I was about ready to go live for a small select group of people. And then I hit a financial wall. I couldn't afford to keep buying the plugins I needed. I didn't know enough about coding to develop my own. And even if I took time to learn, I doubt I would have had enough time to code every aspect I needed. On top of that, there was the looming CDN issue. I would need to cloud deliver content to the website and allow user-uploaded content, but I would have to cover that bill until I found some way of making the whole thing sustainable. Is there anything you fought hard to complete but failed? I would love to hear your story in the comments. So I got the idea to make a sleep music channel on YouTube as a way to bring in extra income. I listen to them a lot and seem to do really well on YouTube, plus I love video editing. What I underestimated was how oversaturated the niche has become with crappy AI slop. This was actually something I had considered doing at the start of my project, but after speaking with a real musician, my little brother, he's broken at best on TikTok. Look him up. He's a TikToker extraordinaire, far more famous than I'll ever be. But after speaking with him, I decided against the whole ordeal. He brought up a lot of good points that resonated with me. So instead, I bought a lot of software and put it on credit, which caused a lot of debt, which I already really couldn't afford, and nothing screams responsible adult like financing a dream that hasn't made $1 yet. Now I had done it twice, back to back, very expensive dreams both times, and as it turned out, inspiration compounds slower than interest. Well, I think I've produced a couple of really decent songs. I got overwhelmed and discouraged by taking on way too much at once. I actually had a DJ producing tracks for me as well. I wanted to find more, but I was unable to. It's hard to find people that will share your dream without any promise of profit. I still owe him an apology, as it's taken me over 2 months now to complete a new video, and I still have one of his tracks he took time out of his busy day to create, and it's been on the back burner. On top of all the financial issues, I hit some personal issues with my son's schooling. I don't really want to get into all the details, but it began to weigh on me. And as every new feather landed on my shoulders, the weight grew and grew before I finally collapsed and it just became another brick wall. My brain just can't bypass it. I was never the best Tetris player. So, of course, I went back to my comfort hobby and started gaming again. My poor Steam account had seen zero activity since all of this started. I'm sure Gabe thought I was dead. I was half expecting a get well card considering how much I've put into this account over the years. One of the first games I reinstalled was Lumines. At least Lumines never charged me for hosting fees, yearly subscription for software that was receiving infrequent updates. If I was gonna fail at something major, maybe I could at least do this damn challenge that has haunted me for all of these years. For the last couple of weeks I've been doing daily attempts at this challenge, each time pushing my block rotating skills farther than they've ever gone before. Today, I just knew it. Today would be the day. While this may seem like a silly accomplishment to most, for me, I would think it would be a huge relief, as sad as that may sound. In my mind, this would be just the pick-me-up I need to get my mind back on the things that matter most to me. Things that I feel are real and I can make a difference in the world in, no matter how small that difference is. Today I felt quieter, felt more focused, and maybe, just maybe, I've finally grown into my swing. And as you can see, I have been on fire. I've been clearing stages I haven't cleared since I started this again. My hands were steady, knees weak, vomit on my sweater already. My placements were on point. My brain wasn't racing, I was in the zone. As I passed stage 9 and I moved on to the final opponent, I started thinking about my victory cry. Would it be more of a "Ee-yah" or a "Whoopee"? How great it would feel to finally put this behind me. Entering into this last stage, I knew this would be it. Feel it in my bones.
I am the burnout your parents warned about. Maybe let's hang out. They'd probably freak out, but someday you'll leave me. Tell them you got it. One day you'll see me and maybe regret it. No, I'm just the burnout you left in your hometown. Still rocking jeans as you're sporting your cap and gown. Now you're off to college, I'm off to concerts. You're making dollars and I'm making songs hurt. Cause I'm just the burnout, a bullet you missed. You're just a song to somebody I kissed who hopes that I make it. You're wishing me well, so someday I might be a story to tell. Well, I don't think I'm good for it, and I'm certainly no good for you, 'cause I'd be a has-been had I ever been.
Just like everything else, I suppose.